kind of dancing and jamming out to that tune. Hello, what's up, you beautiful actors? How are you? My name's Michelle Tomlinson, and I'm super excited to be here with our second episode of Cosmic Acting Coaches with the creator of Cosmic Acting Coaches, fellow badass acting teacher, acting coach, actress, writer, phenomenal Monica Garcia. Hi, Monica.
Hello, Michelle. Thanks for that introduction. You're so great at it. I'm like last minute. I'm like, you do it.
The improv skills that we learn in improv classes and in hosting classes, they're really good. They come in handy when you get that last second. Can you do the intro today? Yeah, but you added this like jamming like little beat at the beginning of this, and so I was kind of like. I was kind of jamming out before we began. That was fun. It's a good energy giving thing. So thanks, Monica.
Yeah, thanks.
I have questions. Like there's questions. So we've talked so much over the years, you and I. I was trying to remember how long we've actually known each other.
Yeah, it's.
I think it's something around 18 or 19 years.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I've been teaching for 19, so I don't know if I was teaching yet when I met you.
You weren't teaching yet when I met you.
So maybe
Negatory.
17.
Yeah. God. Because I moved to LA and yeah. I moved to LA in ... Math is hard, people.
Yeah.
But the bigger point of this is we've had so many really epic conversations, and something that I really cherish with you is that we can talk deep. We can talk deep. We can talk real. We can talk philosophy. We can talk human condition, existential crises. All the topics can get covered. But I would really love to share with our viewers, Monica, what do you actually look for when working with new students and clients? Do you have a specific type of actor that you prefer to attract into your business world?
Well, I prefer actors to audit my class, to audit my work, what I do, the setting, how I work, the approach that I use. And they choose to study with me because I think that when you're around me as a teacher, as a person, I think you can pretty much get how I am, my energy, and if we vibe or not. Like, the only thing that I want a student to do is try. Like, do the homework, work hard, and then just try. I want a student who, even when they're afraid, even when they think they can't do it, I just want them to show up and be brave. I don't say, oh, I don't want this person or I don't want that person. People just weed themselves out naturally because they don't work hard or they're not showing up prepared, and there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't do it for you, right? As a teacher, like, I would love to help you, but you have to show up and give something so that we can mold it and go a little over here, a little over there. But yeah, you don't stay a student of mine if our energies aren't right. It's not a matter of I don't like you or I don't think I can work with you. It just naturally weeds itself out. What I bring to the table, and if you're ready and show up, let's go. And if not, they go somewhere else. I'm not somebody too that just tells you you're a great actor just to stroke your ego, and because
yes.
I don't want people to stay.
It's dangerous.
I want people to it is. I want people to really learn and go out there and work. Right?
Yet 1 million reasons we get along so well. We really do see a lot a lot the same. And, dude, I totally agree with that. And somebody can be great, and we can say, well, that was really great. Let's make it even better. Let's elevate it further. Let's, talk about this and da da da. But that showing up and being brave is a huge deal.
Yeah.
It is for me, and it sounds maybe for you also, that it's like a 90% thing when you have this dream in your heart, this thing that you've always wanted to do, whether you're 7 years old or you're 78 years old, and every age between, you have this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that voice, y'all, is never going to get quiet. You can put a lid on it, you can try to stuff it down, you can throw yourself into a myriad of different situations that give you the beautiful excuse to not do the thing. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time. Oh, I work too much at my job. Oh, this, oh, that. But that voice, that thing in your heart, that silent, not silent, but that loud, loud whisper that's happening, is so real. And so showing up being brave, as Monica so succinctly put, to your first acting classes, with whomever you study with, is such a massive deal. Because when you show up and you're brave for yourself, whoever you're studying with should step up with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this great exchange of energy and information and love, for the craft and for the business, that's where all of that starts to bloom and blossom. But showing up and being brave, that gave me chills. That
Mm-hmm.
that's so
Yeah.
much it.
And that doesn't mean you're not afraid. You can be terrified.
Totally.
Your legs could be
Yeah.
shaking, you're sweating, you feel like you're going to pass out, but you're there and you're trying. You're trying to jump. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to fail. And we do
Yep.
it anyway. You
Yeah.
do it anyway. That's brave to me.
That's massive bravery to me also. I remember back in our shared scene study experience, there's an exercise. Oh my God, I'm sweating even thinking about the exercise. I literally just started to sweat, but it was the most terrifying thing I'd ever done up to that point, in front of a group of people, was like having to be so vulnerable to sing a song on stage. I am not a singer. I mean, I can whip it out in the shower, from
Yeah.
Shazam. But I'm not a singer, and I've never aspired to do those things. And it was like this massive vulnerable moment. It was like, I think we had to put our arms out or something. There was this very physically open thing to have to do while singing a song. God, I am sweating now. And I wanted to skip class. And then the teacher was like, and whoever isn't here next week for the singing, I will catch up with you and you will do it. Everybody wants to leave the minute singing. Bada, bada. And I was like, oh shit, there's no escape for me for this. I was freaked, man. And so I did it, and the house didn't come down with applause, which is more than fine. But it was for me this massively gratifying thing of oh my God, I just did something artistically that was so scary. And I sang, MLK by U2. And so it's, yeah. And so it's a very anybody who knows the song, it's a very kind of soul cracking open song if you really listen to it, not with me singing. And I felt like I floated home
Mm-hmm.
because I was so excited that I actually did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where my head went when you talked about showing up and being brave. When you show up and you decide to commit to that voice, to that loud whisper in your heart, nothing in the world compares
Nothing.
to knowing that, okay, I showed up and I did the thing and I didn't die, and nobody talked
It
Nobody
felt like
talked
it.
smack to me. Yeah, it felt like I was going, like, I legit, I mean, even just my sense memory was like, sweat, Tomlinson. This was nerve wracking. Um, I, yeah, I applaud
Yeah,
that statement. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember, and we still do that. I still do that exercise when I teach technique. And I remember people would come from older classes to watch that last class, to watch people sing. And I
Yeah.
sang "Why Can't He Be You" by Patsy Cline, and
Nice.
with my legs shaking, and I thought I was gonna poop
Your
myself,
voice
throw up, and pass
shaky.
out all at the same time.
Totally.
Terrified.
Totally.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
facing a fear, showing up, and
Yep.
doing it anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
really
a
is,
good
and
example.
it's a huge thing to kick down.
Mm,
When you learn how you can kick down your own self-created walls inside this craft, you become pretty limitless,
mm-hmm,
realizing how much isn't actually standing in the way.
mm, right. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So,
Speaking of showing up and being brave and starting the journey of acting, so Monica, what do you think are some of the common pitfalls that new actors make in this business, or that they fall into? What are some of those? What do those look like for you?
I don't know. I think it's a fine line and a real balance of actors putting themselves in situations that they may not be ready for yet. You know, those are the
Ooh,
pitfalls
like
of
what?
like, I had a student that, he he's really cute, and he has natural talent, and he knows that. And so uh, he went out and did a movie. He got cast because he looked like a baby Johnny Depp, and super cute. But he came running back going, "Oh my God, I had no business doing that. I made a fool of myself. I don't know what I'm doing." And so that was great. He came back to study. But I feel like some of the pitfalls is we can just start certain jobs too soon before you're really ready. Um, Wanting to do all the business part of it before you really train. Like you go out and we've talked about this before, you pay for headshots, and you um, sign up on all the, casting websites and actors websites that you're paying, and you start spending a lot of money that you really don't need to be spending yet, because the only thing you should be spending money on is your training. Knowing the balance of when I'm ready. Not really. You really have to trust your teacher. When your teacher tells you you're ready, is tricky. You have to listen to yourself. Am I ready? Do I know what, like, I always want to, I feel like there is nothing I can't do. I genuinely feel that. Now, I might not be as right for the part as someone else, and someone else might be more feminine or more whatever that the part calls for, but I still feel like I can do it. And I want every one of my students to feel that way, that there's nothing they can't do. And so some of the pitfalls is, doing things that you may not be ready for yet, but wasting money that you don't really need to be spending yet. Um, is that kind of what you mean? Like pitfalls? What kind of pitfalls do you see with your students?
Any, gosh, any kind of pitfalls. Pitfalls are pitfalls, and they're labeled that, for a reason. There's yes to everything you said. Yes, and I'm gonna that's my rewind sound. To you, you pointed out to listen to yourself, and I'm paraphrasing, and ask yourself, when am I ready? When and really listening to that voice, because you you just got to be careful what voices you let in that tell your own narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and who's telling your story. Is it you, Or is it your parent, your teacher, your teacher, your parent, your friends? Children have a lot of peer pressure stuff, as we all know. And so there are kids who listen to all their friends at school, be that for the betterment of their career or not. And those become a lot of the voices that some kids will hear when approaching acting, and that can cause entire conversations in their head. So that is a pitfall to me, is who are you listening to? And it's not because my voice needs to be this mighty voice that everybody needs to listen to, but who are you listening to?
Right.
And what are you buying as your truth? And a huge pitfall that I see, and I have experienced, myself, of course, is letting the wrong voices dictate your journey. Letting the wrong voices dictate your journey is a massive pitfall, because if they don't align with your truth, whose journey are you really taking?
Right.
And that's a real thing that comes up a lot in private. And I do so many primarily private coaching sessions. So it's all one-on-one. And so in those one-on-one sessions, of course, we work on, acting, and we work on breaking down scripts. We work on what does it take to hit this, and what is, the headshots and blah, blah, blah in the business. And then a piece that comes in very frequently is, so-and-so said a thing, and now I feel a thing, and I can't get this thing out of my head, and now I can't focus on my audition. And so it's kind of unraveling that. So I do see a lot of mental pitfalls with actors that come from a false belief system handed to them by somebody else, usually. And I mean, I've been there. So
you work a lot with children too, so that must be even amplified that much more, because I mean, you can have the mother tell you you're the perfect, most beautiful, precious thing, or they can be afraid for you and say, "Oh, honey, are you sure you want to do this? Don't you want to do? You're never gonna, how many, all of that." So, a lot of my students or clients, I've started them with the Stella Adler technique 1, technique 2, and a lot of that stuff we really work out early on. So by the time I'm coaching them, it's really just about the work. But a lot, I'd say 70 to 90% of it is personal, moving around, adjusting, and bringing to light. And a lot of the fear of I'm never going to make enough money to pay my bills. I'm chasing a dream. I should go, I know a lot of my students went to college to please their parents and then decided to move to acting. So yeah, I'm still in a lot of fear. Am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? All of
what
that.
What if, what do I do when, what should they say? What do I say? How do they see me? And it also, I mean, there's even when you get a bad review, how that can crush somebody. I had the great glory of learning in college, actually doing theater in college, where one of my friends who was phenomenal with comedy, oh my God. I mean, you could hand this guy a paper bag and he would find a way to make it comedic and funny. He was amazing. And the local paper gave this person a bad review. College gave him a really bad review on something he did on stage in a comedic play. I mean, Neil Simon, for crying out loud. And my friend was devastated. Devastated. It completely flattened him. And then as we were talking, I was like, well, hey man, what would happen if we just started looking at bad reviews the same as good reviews? What would happen if we started just putting them on the level playing ground? Because if we can both look at the same painting on a wall and I hate it and you love it, the painting doesn't change. It's, it's all objective. And for me, that was my defining moment of like, oh my God, it really doesn't matter if somebody hates this or loves this thing that I'm doing, as long as I'm doing it with to the best of my ability, to with the best possible integrity and all of that stuff. Like that's the thing I'm going to try to focus on. And there were about 5 million times where once I got to LA, not in college, uh, those belief systems of mine wavered a lot because there's so much strength in what a manager says or what an agent says or what the industry says is beautiful, or it's just, I mean, it would sway in the wind like grass on a prairie or in the field or in the mountains, would just bend and bend. And it's learning the pitfalls of whose voices to hear and learning to bend like a beautiful pine tree on top of a mountain, being able to bend without breaking.
Right.
And so pitfall of listening to the wrong voices and letting the wrong voices live inside you is a biggie.
Well, when your tree has strong roots,
Yeah, girl.
You can just let it blow through your branches. You don't listen to that, whether it's good or bad. They're just as harmful, because if you believe the good ones, you have to believe the bad ones. It's just like, or you could be devastated because you had a bad review, but then you could get a good review and then go showboat the next day because your ego is now in the way, and it's not just a pure performance experience. You have to really know yourself and know your truth. Like, what do I feel about me? So, and that's easy as we mature and get older. It gets better and better if you've been working on it. But as a kid, that's really rough. Like,
as a kid, it's
is that true?
Yeah, and
true? Check with yourself.
Right, and also, what's the foundation for you, and where did you fall in love? Like when somebody starts to really spin out, like it's not that I'm an expert in relationships, but let's just share a giggle on that one. But where did you fall in love? You're in the acting industry for a reason, and where did you fall in love? And I don't get these parents hardly ever. I think I've only had one or two in the 14 years I've been coaching and teaching actors, but sometimes a very small percentage, in my experience, people love to talk smack about momagers and all this other stuff. Well, let me tell you what, y'all, your parents are your first defense to possibly hurtful material coming your way to audition for and book. Your parents are that first filter. They're your first line of defense. They're the people who are going to have your back. Number one. So I have experienced, I've been really lucky. 99.9% of all of my parents have been exactly that for their kids. They're that filter. They're the guiding force, the ones who will say things like, listen, child, do you still love doing this? They'll check in with their kids to make sure that their kids are like, yeah, man, I still love this. Or they go, you know what? I don't love this. I'd rather go be an architect. I would rather go. One girl wanted to be, she was 14 or 15 in my living room in LA saying, I'd rather be in the military. And I was like, this is quite different. The military, you take direction both times, but ain't nobody going to shoot live rounds at you in a film set. That's a legit difference. And she left the acting industry and decided to be in high school and joined her ROTC program and did community theater and thrived. And so she found a way to listen to both of those voices. And so with kids, it's constantly being able to, and especially with the parents, checking in to see where your child's at. Like, are they still cool with this journey? Because it's brutal. It's a brutal journey because you have these young developing minds, and this is where I get really, and I've always been this way before I became a mom, of being really protective of the developing mind of a child in this industry.
Hmm.
and really trying to help them develop all the things acting wise and all the things business savvy wise for themselves to really mature into an industry that can otherwise be extremely daunting and very tough. And it's very easy to fall into um, situations that aren't going to feed your spirit or your career in a healthy direction.
Well, there's a major pitfall right there. Not having the support, not
Huge.
having the right voices, not
Yeah,
having great
huge.
parenting. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and even with the best of parenting, once kids reach certain ages, kids are kids. They have their own minds. They have their own passions. They have their own ideas. And that's, fostering them. And sometimes kids will still fall into um, really unfortunate situations and really unfortunate traps and really unfortunate pitfalls that include, millions of hits on social media, include millions of dollars, that include all of these things that are very alluring because we
Mm-hmm.
we have a whole couple generations now of children who've been raised under the cloud of Kardashian fame, which I feel is another pitfall. I mean, I got nothing against the Kardashians, but when you teach generations of humans that you don't have to, that you portray a way of not having to work, not having to build a skill, not having to create something for yourself, not having to do a lot of the basic things that we've had to do, Monica, uh, then you have all these people thinking that they don't have to work and they can become, what is it, Insta famous? Is that a thing? Is that I'm
Yeah.
too old to know this. It's like Insta famous or something.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You brought up a good point of, learning the craft of acting and studying and to become an actor, versus you can be a YouTube star, and it's fine, but don't say you want to be an actor if you can't put in the work. If you just want to be famous, that's something different. So don't get it twisted. There's two separate things: a legitimate actor and that other thing that's a YouTube
The other
star or whatever
thing. Yeah.
that I don't understand. Back in
It's
my
not our
day,
generation
that's
to understand that. We're not supposed to understand that, and that's okay.
yeah, but
But
whatever it is, pick one or
yeah,
be it, but or prepare yourself in training, and you can still do that other thing. But re- don't get it confused. It's two different, very different things, and so
yeah,
and they're
two
both
very
fine.
different things.
But you really need to study if you want a legitimate acting career and not make a fool of yourself.
What she said. So then that begs the question, sister, like, do you think anyone can learn to be an actor? I was just asked this question by one of my clients the other day, and it led to a beautiful conversation. And I
Mm,
would love to hear your thoughts. Like, can anyone learn to be an actor, Monica?
I say yes. I
Yes.
think anyone can. Now
Why?
there are a lot of people that have oozing natural talent, a charisma,
Hmm.
something that you can't teach. And there are people that have very little talent that have to work really, really hard to. It depends too how your brain works. If you're very left brain, great. If you're very right brain, or there are a lot of reasons, like a perfectionist or too analytical, whatever it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you really want to do this and you're willing to put in the time. I think anyone can do this. And anyone that says, well, you can't do this, you shouldn't be doing this, you need to go somewhere else. It's that voice again. It's that voice again. If you have it in your heart and this is really what you want to do, audit classes, find teachers that resonate with you. And when you find the teacher that you resonate with and believes that anything is possible, and go with that teacher. Anyone can learn. It might be more challenging for some than others, but anyone, I
Doesn't
believe,
matter.
can do it. Yeah.
What she said again. 1,000%.
Yeah.
If it's in your heart, if it's speaking to you and you are in love, do the things. Absolutely. It's exactly what I just talked about with my client the other day. Absolutely anybody
Yeah.
can learn to be an actor.
So you and I talk about, like you said in the beginning, a lot of different things. And, I've really looked into astrology. It will say in your chart, I said, that student you were talking about that wanted the military, her Mars must have been really strong in her chart,
Mars,
because
people. Mars.
but
I'm not
looking at
making fun, but that's a fun thing to say.
But looking at someone's chart can really help you too decide, maybe there's just some creative outlet that I need in my life that's very strong.
Right.
You're going to feel it, but you're looking at your birth chart in astrology. It can really help guide you and go, oh yeah, no wonder, that makes sense. And you can fulfill that part in you, whether you take it seriously or not, and do some theater or go for it all the way. Oh yeah, this is my calling. This is what I should be doing. If you believe in that stuff, there's a great book. You don't believe in that, do you? Or you don't believe in astrology, do you? And it was a lot of people that try to prove it wrong or it's silly. And that's kind of what I was. I'm like, what a bunch of ridiculousness. But the more I looked into it, I was like, okay, and it can really help make some decisions. I don't know why I got, but I'm just really learning about medical astrology and
right. You've been taking like classes. You said
yeah,
recently. You said you were taking like actual astrology classes.
yeah, I'm addicted. Astrology Hub. I'm on it all the time on YouTube. The teachers
That's
and the
so
wisdom.
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah,
I know
I don't
next
know.
to nothing about it. So I'm gonna defer to you to talk birth charts.
Yeah, it can really help support your decisions, or maybe even guide you. Like, yeah, I love acting, but I'm really called to this other thing. Well, this is why. Yeah, of course.
There's a reason behind it, and it could be Mars
Yeah.
circling back around. Yeah, I mean, and to gain clarity for yourself, I think, is kind of also what you're saying, Monica. And there are so many ways to do that, and people turn to prayer based on whatever faith any human has, to prayer, to meditation, to astrology, to therapists, to support groups. All of it, I think, helps you look within. And all of it, I think, has the ability to give the clarity that you're seeking for your own path.
Absolutely. The bottom line is, you got to just, how does this make me feel when I say I want to be an actor? Is it true? Do I want to, but is it terrifying? Yes, it's terrifying, but it's still true. Okay.
Yes.
I want to be an actor.
Yes.
I think I just want to be famous. I think I just want to
I want the 5 million hits on, yeah.
And so.
And that's okay.
It is okay. Just, you have to listen to your own voice and trust it, and find other voices that you can trust that have your back. Have you ever met anybody and go, oh no, you can't do this, you shouldn't, like, oh god?
No.
But you let them figure it out for themselves. You don't tell them. You're like, yeah,
well, there's nobody that's come. I've not experienced that. Those people probably exist. I mean, every type of human, it does totally exist. I've had clients who have come in. There was this amazing girl many years ago who didn't look at acting as a career path for herself, but she looked at it as a form of self-expression as she was trying to get to know different parts of herself, which I thought it blew my hair back because what an incredible road to kind of travel. Like she chose to not get headshot. Like she really did not approach the business, but that was never her intent. Her intent was to get to know a certain side of herself before she did things like get married or have her own kids. And we came together to do that. And it was so beautiful, and it was a wonderful use of my time because, people have asked me things like, well, isn't it a waste of your time if somebody's not approaching the business? Holy God, like as long as they're getting what they came to get. And for this particular young woman, I think she was 17 or 18 when she came into my door, and we worked together for a year or two, and she just explored all these different facets of her emotional body through scene work.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to experience that. I got to guide her through it using acting, using breaking down scripts, using getting into different characters, using, submitting to circumstances of character, all these things that we teach people who want to pursue acting. I didn't waver from how I worked, but she just grew into this amazing young woman, and she is married now, and I know she has at least one child, and it was really awesome to watch that experience. So I don't want to say I don't deal with, but I don't know if I don't attract or I don't work with, or they don't come to me. People who don't want something specific from their training. Usually it's actors. 99.9% of the time it's actors. But that 0.1 was just as inspiring as watching any one of my actors book the jobs that they book, because she really was so clear on why she was on the couch, on my couch in my living room. It sounded weird, film industry and couches.
Yeah.
In my living room where I would have a lot of classes and stuff. And so
I've had a lawyer, a therapist, come and take classes to get out of themselves. And I've also had students that say they don't want to be actors, that they just want to learn about it, but they're afraid to admit that they want to be actors, and slowly you start to see them come out of their little shell.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I really want to do this.
Okay, this whole time, I'm gonna go and book some jobs now later.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's also, it's just always very inspiring. We're very lucky, Monica. We're very, 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 very lucky to be doing what we get to do, and to be an eyewitness, be a part of, be the chick with the lamp. I say, I'm just the chick with the lamp, like, here you go. To so many people learning and growing and experiencing and booking and doing the things that they're meant to do.
Absolutely.
That's kind of cool.
Two lucky chicks. Maybe that's who she would be. Two lucky chicks.
Two lucky chicks.
Oh, God.
There we go.
All right, Michelle. Well, thank you for another great week. I think that...
Thank you, Monica.
I love sharing what we do. I love sharing our years of doing this. And if we can help actors in any way, this is what we want to do. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the intro.
You're welcome. I'll keep my improv pants on.
Yeah. And anybody who has some specific questions that you would like to ask Michelle or myself, you can see the comments below the show notes, and we will put our email address, and you can contact us. All right. Any questions, we'll answer them. Maybe once a month we'll do it live, and we'll answer your questions live. But if not, reach out and we will answer your questions. All right. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Monica.
I'll see you next week.
See ya.